I am the Hello, everybody. My name is Jay. I'm the community organizer here at IJ Action. It's a pleasure just to be here, to be in space with you all for the last general meeting of the year here at IJ Action. We had a wonderful year that we launched and we've done some amazing things. And it's great to be in space with y'all, to be building with y'all, to be power building, and to just be sharing space. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started by sharing my screen here. Which will go ahead and share the slideshow with you all. So again, welcome to the December 2022. Sorry, welcome to the December 2022 general meeting. As Tyne already went over the layout of the meeting tonight with the welcomes, member announcements, committee updates, end of year report, 3 strikes conversation, and I'll be doing some closing. So I'll start with the member announcements for this month. We want to welcome our new member, Christopher W. And also at IJ Action, one thing for us is transparency. And we want to let y'all know that that you all as members have helped us to raise $155 this past month, which will go toward activities, swag, and other things for membership, as well as member trainings and other great things that we have in store moving forward. So again, that's $155 on 7 donations. So it's greatly appreciated. And of course, we can't do this without the amazing contributions of the people. And so for those of you who are on this call and who are not currently members or who have friends that may possibly be interested, but haven't filled out the membership application, we're going to go over the membership structure that we have here at IJ Action. So we have 2 different forms of membership here at IJ Action. The first is supportive membership. And a supportive member is someone who has completed their membership application and paid membership dues. And supportive members contribute and participate in meetings and committees whenever they can. Active members is the other form of membership. And active members are people who've completed their membership application, paid membership dues, completed new member orientation, they commit to attending general member meetings, sign up for at least 1 committee, and also signed our membership pledge. And so, of course, we always hope that everyone chooses active membership, because with the active membership, we're able to multiply our numbers, we're able to show up to organizing events, we're able to show up in front of elected officials, and we're able to give the opinions of what our community needs, as well as show strength in numbers with our voting and our organizing efforts. So these 2 memberships basically kind of boil down to a person's capacity. So again, we hope folks choose active membership, and if you fill out that membership application, I'll get it and I'll send you an email back in response along with your next steps. So please take some time to fill out that membership application if you haven't already done so. And I'm sure one of my great colleagues will be dropping that link in the chat to the membership application. And so with that, I'm going to move over to committee updates, and I'll be giving the committee update for Membership and Outreach Committee, which is chaired by myself, also with Adriana. And so the Membership and Outreach Committee is in charge of membership recruitment. It's also in charge of policy actions and community engagement, such as the Get Out to Vote effort, distribution of the voter guide, and other efforts within reentry facilities and other spaces that will have impacted people and people who are a part of the organizing efforts for IJ Action. And so our committee update for this month is to basically talk about a brief update for what we've decided to do for 2023, or some ideas that we have. And so for 2022 is election year, a lot of things that we had going on as an organization, including our voter guides, and also working on endorsements for candidates and ballot measures. So 2023, we've decided to put an imprint on membership to make sure that our membership is strong and folks are really enjoying the possibilities that we have here at IJ Action, as well as to grow with us, to build with us, and to continue to move the organization and our efforts forward for prison abolition in California. So we just want to let y'all know that what we have slated for membership in 2023, just a brief view, is building infrastructure for the IJ Action regional membership model. And what that looks like is membership structures within different regions of California, possibly different cities. And we're still working on what that looks like, but that's the ultimate goal, is just regional membership, of course, all under the IJ Action, all under IJ Action, but just folks who are local, who are organizing together and able to contribute to different efforts. Also, building out the infrastructure for inside membership. So, of course, we want to have that inside-outside approach. We want to be able to organize folks who are incarcerated. We want to be able to uplift their voice and show their impact. And so we're constantly building ideas toward laying out that infrastructure and what that looks like. Also, another big one that we have slated is exclusive member trainings. And what that can be is different types of trainings, including how to run for office, how to have your ideas turn into a ballot measure, how to support ballot measures, how to support candidates. Some will be personal growth, so different things like that. Also, other types of political training. And then, of course, in 2023, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for ballot work and organizing opportunities. And then, of course, the ultimate goal of the membership and outreach committee is to increase our membership. So just to bring more like-minded folks to the fight, folks who want to be involved, and to help people who are really frustrated with the way things are going, to have an outlet to be able to contribute to the solution to our problems. So that's what we have looking like for 2023. And also, because this is IJ Action, and we love to have of everyone's opinions and thoughts about what we're doing here at IJ Action, as well as the route that we should take, we're going to be emailing out a end-of-year membership survey. And in that survey, we want you all to be honest. We want to have your honest opinions of what you would like, where you would like to see the organization contributing efforts to, and also things about what types of trainings you would like, as well as other ways that we can contribute to membership, as well as the growth of membership. So be looking for that in your email. If you see it, please fill it out. Shouldn't take too long, and send it back. We really appreciate it. And that will be that for right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop my share. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Taina so she can begin the conversations for tonight.
Awesome, Jay. Well, thank you so much for all of those updates. And I know that I just put it in the chat, but I want to reiterate for folks, once we have the survey out, we really do want to get people's feedback on like what your thoughts are. Like if you're already a member of IJ Action, like any feedback in terms of how you think we can improve our membership program for next year. If you're not a member, you're also welcome to fill it out and give us your thoughts on what you think membership might look like, and what might make you interested in becoming a member of IJ Action. So please keep an eye out for that. We'll be emailing everybody who is on our email list. If you're not on our email list already, I can probably, or maybe somebody else can drop a link to our website in the chat, because you can actually just go on our website and sign up for our email list to get emails from us. But thanks, y'all. So I'm going to start to get us into wrapping up this year. So with the support of our colleague Shervin, who isn't able to join us tonight, and with Emiliana, who's here, we've been working on an end of year report for IJ Action to just like wrap up like what we've been able to accomplish in 2022. That report will be coming out later on this week or early next week. But in the meantime, I really do just want to like share some of our successes for 2022 with you all, give a little bit of a sneak peek in terms of what we're planning on working on for 2023. And then I will pass it over to Zakiya, who's with us this evening, who is going to be sharing more details in terms of one of the big campaigns that we're going to be working on, which is the effort to repeal California's 3 strikes law. So in 2022, IJ Action like really launched officially for the first time. So we are the only abolitionist 501c4 organization in the state of California that is led by and for people who are directly impacted by incarceration. So we spent most of this year with our amazing board of directors. Some of our board members are here, such as Roberto, Amy, and Adriana, who have like really stepped up to the plate to help us develop some infrastructure for the organization to make sure that everything is like legally compliant and all of that good stuff. But we also put some serious effort into the elections this year, right? With us passing Prop 17 in 2020, that was a really big step, but we needed to make sure that in passing Prop 17 and restoring voting rights for people on parole, we need to make sure that people on parole like actually have the tools that they need to be able to vote. So with the support, with Jay's leadership and the support of some of our community trainers, we were able to reach hundreds of people who are directly impacted, people who are on parole, reach out to them at both like parole offices, reentry homes, transitional homes, reentry facilities, and register people on parole to vote, talk to them about like what is even on the ballot and help answer any questions that they may have. But in addition to that, we also put together 2 incredibly thorough voter guides this year. So both for the June primary election and the November general election, we did like almost 300-page long voter guides, which analyzed the campaigns of more than 200 candidates who are running for state assembly, state senate, all of the state constitutional offices such as governor, attorney general, controller, all of that stuff. And then for the general election, we also took positions on the state ballot measures. We did all of this, and one other thing I should say about the voter guides is we also instituted a process of endorsing candidates. So we took our power building to the next level and interviewed people who are running for statewide office and had system impacted people show up and ask them questions about their views on abolition and justice reform legislation, and endorsed 8 candidates, 6 of whom won their races. And now we will be in the process of co-governing with them and ensuring that they do all the things that they said that they were going to do in the interview process. So our endorsed candidates appeared in the voter guides. And in addition to coming up with our process for endorsing candidates, we came up with a process for endorsing ballot measures as well. So our staff and board did research and made recommendations, but then we also presented those recommendations overall to our membership. So that's another reason to encourage people to become members in 2023 and 2024, that our members have to vote to approve the candidates who we endorse. Our members have to vote to approve the positions that we take on ballot propositions. And in the coming year, our members are going to be voting to approve something else. Another project that we're going to be working on for 2023 is going to be an abolitionist policy platform, where we're going to be laying out what abolition looks like in practice. And it'll be written again by people who are directly impacted by incarceration. It'll be drafted by our staff and board, but it'll have to be ratified by our members. So if you are interested in becoming part of a process where we're going to have the only abolitionist policy platform in the state, please consider becoming a member of IJ Action in 2023. But other exciting campaigns that we'll be working on in 2023 are policy campaigns. So in 2022, because we focused so much on the election, we didn't actually sponsor any legislation, but in 2023, that's going to change. I'm excited to announce. Now, with a lot of details yet, because we haven't introduced yet, but IJ Action will be co-sponsoring legislation in 2023 to refer an initiative to the 2024 ballot to restore voting rights for people in state and federal prison in California. So we are going to take the next step in terms of what we won with Prop 17, and we will be spending the next 2 years fighting to restore voting rights for people who are currently in prison. More details on that campaign will be coming in our January general meeting, so please make sure that you show up for that. But yeah, we're in the process now of working with an author, bringing together coalition partners, starting to do polling. So yep, It's happening, y'all. It's happening. More details coming soon. But if you're a member, you can definitely be part of that process. So again, encourage you to become a member. And yeah, like I see Jay here saying to register for our January 2023 meeting, where we will have more details on that campaign. But the next exciting campaign that we are going to be working on is an effort to repeal California's 3 strikes law. IJ Action is a proud member of the Repeal, Reunite, Reinvest coalition, of which Zakiya Prince is the leader, and I'll be passing it over to her in a second. But some of y'all might know, the effort to repeal a 3 strikes law has been happening for the past couple of years. IJ Action and myself in my former capacity with IJ have been working with Zakiya and May, who's our campaign manager, for the last couple of years to like lay the foundation for repealing the 3 strikes law. Now, this is something that is going to be a huge effort, something that we know we need to be very intentional about. So we are going to be doing a lot of really important work to lay the foundation so that we can get ready for the November 2024 ballot. But I'm not going to share too much because I am not the expert there. But with us this evening to give us more information in terms of where we are with the effort to repeal the 3 strikes law and how you all can be involved is Zakiya Prince. So Zakiya, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Taina. Thank you all for having me tonight. I just want to apologize in advance. I am under the weather. So if I start coughing, please excuse me. And also my child probably will pop in at certain points. So my apologies. But again, thank you so much for having me. I want to kind of back up a little bit and kind of explain what 3 strikes is. There's so much misunderstanding about 3 strikes. A lot of folks on this call possibly were born after 3 strikes was enacted. So I'll kind of give a brief background and overview of 3 strikes, and then where what we've been working on over the past year and where we are as far as timeline. So 3 strikes was enacted in 1994 through Proposition 184, and it had been kind of the final piece of legislation in the tough on crime era that we all know, and the ball for 3 strikes kind of started in 1992 with the robbery and murder of Kimber Reynolds. Her father, Mike Reynolds, was the main proponent of Prop 184 when it passed in 1994. But Prop 184 really had overwhelming support because there was a lot of propaganda around the kidnapping and murder of Polly Klaas, a young white girl from Petaluma, which is in the North Bay, where I'm from the Bay Area, and I vividly remember a lot of news coverage around Polly Klaas, and it was even on a national level because it also fueled the 1994 crime bill as well. And there was first a legislative bill that went through the legislature with a urgency clause. So they passed it with a 2/3 majority in March of 1994 to implement the 3 strikes law. But Mike Reynolds was very adamant about codifying it into law through the ballot initiative. So he pushed forward to still have the ballot initiative, and November of 1994 is when it was codified into law. And since then, there has been some reforms that have happened. The first attempt at a reform was Prop 66, which was in 2002, and it would have drastically reformed the law. A lot of folks, the majority of folks who are currently serving life sentences would have seen relief with Prop 66. It was polling really well. And even the night of the election, everyone thought it was going to win, but a lot of last minute propaganda from Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was at the time running for running in the recall election. He had paid for all this negative propaganda and really scared people out of voting for Prop 66. And so in the wee hours of the night, it failed, and people were devastated. The next reform was Prop 36, which was the main proponent was Mike Romano and the Stanford Three Strikes Project. They made the decision to do a very narrow reform, and that reform mostly gave relief to folks who had drug offenses. That overwhelmingly passed. Since then, Mike Romano has talked about how he wishes in hindsight that they would have been more expansive in the reform. And another piece of that legislation was that people would be resentenced if the district attorney, decided to pick up the case. So it wasn't like an automatic people, are able to get out if their convicting offense qualified. And then there was Prop 47, which was able to help some folks with three strikes, but it wasn't an actual three strikes reform. That was the wobbler reform, which if your offense was a felony, but it could have possibly been a misdemeanor. Some folks were able to get their felonies bumped down to a misdemeanor, and luckily some folks were able to get out because their last strike was, a wobbler. And some folks whose first or second strike were considered wobblers, weren't able to get relief because their last strike was not applicable. And then we have Prop 57, which initially three strikes sentences were excluded from. So Prop 57 was the proposition in 2016, which made it so that folks who had nonviolent offenses were able to get early parole consideration. So they were able to go to the board early. For me and my family, we were really hopeful. My husband is currently incarcerated under the three strikes law. He's serving a 35-year to life sentence. He has currently served 21 years or so. And at the time, we thought because his offense was nonviolent, that, he would immediately go to board and he would have a chance to come home. But CDCR was given the authority to write the regulations and intentionally excluded folks with three strikes, whether their offense that they were currently incarcerated for was nonviolent or not. That was kind of the last straw that broke our camel's back. We were devastated after, not qualifying for, after 66 failed, and then not qualifying for 36, and then not qualifying for 47, and then now being excluded from 57, even though we shouldn't have been. And so I started trying to figure out, how can I connect with people who want to get rid of this law? Because when you talk to people, a lot of people don't know that the law still exists. A lot of people, anecdotally will say, oh yeah, we shouldn't have never voted for that law in the first place. But there was no one really talking about actually doing something to repeal the law. And so I, at the time, was working as a social worker for the city and county of San Francisco. I started connecting with, amazing folks like Initiate Justice. I did the Institute of Impacted Leaders. And it was really in that program that I was able to really kind of have my aha moment of, I don't need to wait for an organization or some legislator or anyone to come save me, to save my family. We can do this as a community ourselves. And so we started working with a group of folks. Many of us were impacted either by having an incarcerated loved one that we supported who had a 3-strike sentence, whether it was 2nd strike, 3rd strike, or folks who were formerly incarcerated. And there was a couple folks on our steering committee who were currently incarcerated, all of which who had served time under the 3 strikes law. We were working to do an initiative in 2022, this past November, but after talking with different strategists and really with the intention of being of really following the strategy, we realized that 2022 was not going to it was not going to be successful in 2022. We saw kind of a lot of opposition after the murder of George Floyd and, all of the people that were pouring out into our streets. And we thought there was a lot of momentum there, but the opposition, as they always do, comes back in full force. And so we knew that we it was not the prime time to put something like this on the ballot. And so it was a very hard decision for us to make, to follow the strategy and to hold off until 2024. But myself, Taina, and May Gates, our other colleague, made the tough decision to hold back until 2024. And so for the past year, we've been really working to engage with funders and to really help funders understand how much more value their money will have if they invest in the incubation and seed work as we continue to build the infrastructure of the coalition and the movement. And so that's kind of been a lot of where our focus has been for the past year. And currently, where we are is working on an initiative to repeal the 3 strikes law. And so to clarify, because people always ask, even though we say we are working to repeal the law, our goal is to completely take 3 strikes out of the statute, to remove the full portion of the penal code, so that 3 strikes is no longer able to be used to sentence people. Therefore, people who are currently serving time under 3 strikes would be resentenced under the new statute of the law, and it would defer to their base terms. So our hope is to get thousands, tens of thousands of people home. Currently, there are about 33,000 people who are serving 3 strike sentences within CDCR. And so that would decrease the population by about 1/3 of the prison population. And with doing so, we know we will be able to see facilities close, and ultimately that is our goal, is to shut down CDCR and the entire carceral system here in California. And it would be great if we could do it nationally as well. But that's kind of the impact that we will see once we repeal 3 strikes. We will see so many of our loved ones coming home, being able to reunite with our families. And then once we have all of the money that we have been spending to maintain the law and to keep those 33,000 people incarcerated, we'll be able to reinvest that money into the things that actually keep our community safe. And so currently we are working on developing a drafting team to fine tune our ballot language, to have very clear ballot language that repeals the law and then reinvest the cost savings um, into the community infrastructures that need it most to keep our community safe. And we are kind of at a crossroads where we're trying to figure out if we can go the legislative route, which is the much cheaper route, um, or the signature collection route. The signature collection route is going to be upward of $7.5 million to collect the over 1 million signatures that we need to be able to qualify for the ballot. And so any ballot initiative can get on the ballot one of two ways, either through signature collection, which, like I just said, is very, very expensive, or with a legislative referral. And with the legislature, our legislators are not always bold and courageous. So that is sometimes a very heavy lift, but it's, again, a much cheaper lift. And so we're currently trying to determine what our best option is over the next month and a half or so. And then in January, that is when we will start to reconvene and having our monthly coalition meetings, which to date have had our coalition partners, which IJ Action, thankfully, is one of our coalition partners, also Surge Bay Area, and we are looking to bring in some other organizations like the ACLU of Northern California, Californians for Safety and Justice, as well as others. And we also have George Gascon, who is the district attorney in Los Angeles County, who is joining our steering committee. And so that is currently where we are. We are working to build out our volunteer infrastructure, so that folks who want to engage, we have a place for everyone. And we really want this to be a movement that is fueled and centered, and centers folks that are impacted. Every decision that we make in the interest of the folks who are serving time and the families that are serving time with them. And so, even in making the decision to hold off until 2024, we knew that if we pushed for 2022 and we got on the ballot and we lost, that we wouldn't be able to reintroduce the issue to the people for another 8 to 10 years. And we weren't willing to risk people's freedom for another decade potentially. And so, every move that we make has been intentional. It's with a lot of ballot initiatives, especially at the grassroots level. Things are ever changing. But if you are interested in being a part of this movement, this will be, I think, something that is, monumental and really historic in this state. I really encourage you to sign up to be a volunteer. And, it doesn't matter whether where you fit in or not. This work will find a place for you. And there's space for everyone. It looks like my internet connection is unstable. Am I frozen?
You were like hesitating a little bit, but you're good. So just keep going.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, so I'll kind of stop there. And just want to reiterate that, in case you all didn't hear, that there's a place for everyone in this movement, and in the larger movement to abolish this system, and it doesn't matter if you have experience or not. A lot of the experience that I even have is experience I'm getting as I go. And I know that back in 2020, I didn't have any ballot initiative experience, and I joined the Yes on 17 coalition and kind of jumped in and did all that I could to learn ballot initiatives, and that's something that I really want to share with others, all that I'm taking in. We've been excluded and blocked out of the ballot initiative process. The fact that it's so expensive to be people powered and gather the signatures that are needed, which is an asinine amount of signatures that is needed, is very intentional. And so as I learn, I want us all to learn, so that we can utilize this very powerful tool that we have as the people, with access to ballot initiatives and being able to make change in a way that we don't have to rely on our legislators who don't always do the right thing. So I'll drop some links in the chat. Give me a second, because I can't multitask. So I'll drop links if you're interested in volunteering, if you're interested in receiving our newsletter, which we just started last month. It'll be monthly for now, and hopefully soon we can, do it more frequently. But please definitely plug in, and as we build out the coalition, we build out our volunteer base, because it's really a movement that is going to take us all up and down the coast, across genders, across racial backgrounds, across socioeconomic backgrounds. Like, it's going to take us all to be able to repeal 3 strikes and ultimately abolish the system that has been oppressing us all. So I'll stop there and see if anyone has any questions that I can answer, or if Taina or anyone wants to chime in.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zakiya. I really don't have very much to add, but I do want to maybe just support with like facilitating questions. So if folks have questions, please feel free to raise your virtual hand, and I can call on you to ask your question. Or if you prefer, you can go ahead and drop your question in the chat. But again, thank you, Zakiya, for sharing, a little bit about like your personal experience and why you're committed to repealing the 3 strikes law. But I think something that I want to emphasize about what you shared is the fact that, just a couple of years ago, this is something that you were completely new to, and then joined Initiate Justice's Institute of Impacted Leaders, volunteered with us on the Yes on Prop 17 campaign, and really have just been like learning on the ground, like how to do this work. That's also how I learned how to do this work. That's how, so all of us here are just like learning from each other, teaching one another. So I just really want to like uplift that and like, let folks know here that like all of us have the ability to change any law that we want, like as long as we organize together, work mutually to build up one another's skills. This is how we win. So Zakiya, I see that you dropped some links here to sign up to volunteer and to sign up for the email list. Definitely encourage everybody to sign up, to volunteer, and to be on the email list so that you can get updates. But yeah, just wondering if there were any questions. I think Jay, I saw your hand up. I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Yeah, so definitely appreciate you leading the movement, jumping in, getting involved after going through the Institute, and just recognizing the power within. and being able to center that and see where you belong in the fight. And something that stood out to me was where you said, just kind of get involved and don't worry about, where you think you fit in, like wherever you fit in or wherever you need it, will find you. Like that really was meaningful to me. And I just want to kind of share just briefly the fact that while I was incarcerated for over 13 years in state prison, I ran across so many individuals who were sentenced on 3 strikes or under the 3 strikes law, who had sentences of 25 to life, 27 to life, 28 to life, and more, hundreds of years to life for simple things, nonviolent things, things which people weren't harmed, such as like one person, $3 worth of drugs, another person for getting food because they were hungry, another person for taking a newspaper, another person for just crazy, ridiculous things that some people doing out of sheer trying to cope with the world, and others just trying to survive. And you would think out of all those reforms how that it would have reached those people that it was quote unquote intended for, but you see how the reformists always take the true intended nature of these reforms out, or they never put it in to begin with, they just package it that way. And so I just really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm grateful that we're partners in this. And I hope that more people get as passionate as you are and we are, and can see more folks involved in this fight.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Do folks have any questions in terms of the campaign, how to be involved, anything technical about what we need to do to repeal the 3 strikes law? Feel free to go ahead and share your questions either in the chat or by raising your hand. Well, Zakiya, it looks like you just did an amazing job because there are no questions. You're clearly just so thorough for everybody.
I mean, I honestly, like, I'm sick, y'all. Like, so everything's a fog. So I apologize if it was not cohesive and y'all are just so confused you don't even know what to ask. But hopefully I explained it well. But just want to also say, and as I said, this is just one step towards abolition. And I really mean, like, what I say and what I'm learning, like, it's for all of us, like, and this is just like the first step. Like, my mind is like, I am excited to tackle 3 strikes, but I'm also like, okay, what's next though? And so, this is just one part of the larger strategy around abolition. And so, if you feel like 3 strikes doesn't apply to you, like, what are we going to do next? Like, this space is big enough for all of us. And, as Taina said, like, let's all learn from each other, let's work together, and let's take the system down and bring our folks home. Like, that is what this is about. Like, bringing people home, bringing families together, like, is way past time. Like, so many people will say, like, oh, tough on crime was a mistake. We see the wrongs of tough on crime, but nobody's willing to actually do anything about it. And we got to save ourselves. So let's do it. And I see Emiliano has his hand.
Yeah, so what kind of volunteers are you looking for right now? Like, what's like your main priority?
Yeah, so we are currently We're working on building out things in like comms and research. So need support, and we have someone who's working on doing like some graphics for us, like graphic templates. But it would be helpful if someone could like plug in the information for the graphics and be able to like post those graphics. Also, if we have some folks from inside who sent us their stories, and so turning those stories into um um articles for our newsletter would be helpful. But one of the main priorities is the research side of things. We are working on developing a research design team. And that, and honestly, I think that's a really great way for like people who are impacted to like be involved in, because that research design team will be tasked with helping us develop our polling, which I feel like is could be very complicated and convoluted part of the ballot initiative process. So if, any of that interests you, like I would encourage you to plug in, because that's a great way to like learn, is by just jumping in. We're also working on developing the quantitative and qualitative research, so that we can show the full picture of how Three Strikes has impacted our communities. And we are going to be doing some focus groups across the state, to really hear from folks on their, not just if they support or don't support, but their why, so that we know how to really message our campaign and have conversations with people to make sure that we are able to meet people where they are, and engage with people how they need to be engaged. So comms and research is a really big place. Also grassroots fundraising. Surge Bay Area is leading the effort to do grassroots fundraising. After the new year, we'll kind of kick things off again. When they were helping us before, they were able to raise about 100,000 in just a few months. So that will be kind of reigniting after the new year. If you feel like you're like me and you don't like really asking people for money, like they make it really easy, they make it really approachable, for folks to make it fun and engaging to raise money, with small dollar donations. So if you're interested in that, I will plug you in with Surge Bay Area. But those are some of the main places where we need volunteers at.
Okay, cool. Another thing I just wanted to emphasize, like how important this is, because even though there's folks inside doing time for Three Strikes, people on the outside like myself, like I have a felony so that I have one strike, and I've seen people get into a bad situation unintentionally, and all of a sudden they get struck out. So yeah, this coalition and this and repealing Three Strikes is super important, because it really affects, folks that look like, us. So, I hope folks do get involved, and yeah, I can volunteer some time to do some stuff, maybe even build your website, page by page.
Thank you, Emiliano. And yes, as you said, there's a lot of people that just have one strike technically. And so, and it's unfortunate, but I know a lot of people through, people that my husband knows that have had the opportunity to come home either by parole or other avenues, that find themselves arrested again, for whatever reason. And, it's really unfortunate that, they can now be facing a life sentence. So yes, this affects so many others beyond the 33,000 that are currently serving a quote unquote 3-strike sentence, you know, Andy.
Well, you're gonna need people like physically on the ground and stuff like that, whatever is it gonna be, because I'm in San Diego and most of the other stuff that every movement that's happening is in LA and all those areas, and it's hard for me to get to do the physical part. So how is it that you're gonna need people physical so to know how to plan to drive into these areas, and also what can I do from where I'm at right now?
Yeah, so definitely we will need people on the ground across the state. And we'll need people if we can. I would really like to do a deep canvassing effort. Deep canvassing is when you have very strategic conversations with folks who do not support your cause, and with the conversation that you have that has a lot of depth to it, you literally can see like their perspective change in the conversation. It's been done like around Measure R a few years back when they were trying to stop the jail expansion, and other grassroots campaigns throughout the state. So if we could do that, that would be really a great way for folks to be able to be on the ground and talk to their neighbors, talk to folks in our communities. And then we'll also have like getting out the vote when we actually qualify for the ballot initiative. But ways that you can engage now are one, sharing information when we do post things on social media, having just conversations with people about what 3 strikes is, how it's had such negative impacts on our communities, and just really talking to folks. And also, if you're interested in grassroots fundraising, is another way that you can get involved no matter where you are.
Well, thank you all for your questions, and thank you, Zakiya, for taking the time to bring us this wonderful conversation about such a needed topic, especially being that IJ Action is partners in the coalition, and also too there will be opportunities for the membership to be involved in the different activities within the movement. And as those opportunities present themselves, we'll be sure to present them directly to membership. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time, Zakiya. Really appreciate it. And thank you to the members and everyone on the call tonight for the amazing questions. So if y'all could please just drop y'all love in the chat for the brothers and sisters behind the walls and the 3 Strikes movement. Very appreciated. I'm gonna go ahead and begin to wrap us up for tonight. We have a couple of minutes left on the call. And so while I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick, if I can here. And that's the wrong share, sorry. But anyway, so here we are, y'all. So want to let y'all know that everyone is invited to attend the IJ Action holiday party, which will be on December 16th from 7 p.m. to 8:30. We will be uplifting the incredible advocacy and organizing work that our members, board, and staff did this year, which includes 6 of 8 endorsed candidates being elected to office and help with the passage of Measure A. We will also be signing thank you cards to the funders who funded the work that we're able to do. And we will have food and drink available. So we ask that folks please come out and support, and that y'all take part in our and support the member building and funding process. So we ask that folks just please come out and support this. You could bring, a family member, friend, a couple family members, friend, kid friendly. We have an amazing office downtown. In case you haven't been, you should come check it out. Check out that custom drink machine that we got down there, and those crazy vibes that the owner plays for us from his personal Spotify account. and just see everything that we got going on, and just come be in space. One last note, in an effort to keep people safe, we ask that we strongly encourage people to mask. So if you don't mind, if you can, we ask that you mask and come down just so we keep people safe in this holiday season. I know my son unfortunately has pneumonia. It's a lot of sicknesses going around, especially with the children and elderly, and even young folks from flu, RSV, and other sicknesses. So please just if you're feeling sick, please keep that in mind and maybe stay home. But if you're not, you're feeling good to go, you're healthy, and you want to be in space, you want to be in community, you want to support, please just come out, and I will. One of my colleagues will drop the link to the. Matter of fact, I'll drop it in there real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, it's already been done. So yeah, thank you to my wonderful colleague who dropped the link in the chat, and yeah, it's very appreciated if y'all just come out and show up and support. And also too, before we wrap it up, I would like to just make another call for membership applications. If you want to be a part of the amazing work that we're doing here at IJ Action, the informative, the transformative work, please fill out that membership application, because not only does it increase our strength, it increases our power and our ability to be able to sway the vote and have our thoughts felt. So please fill out the membership application. We'll drop the link for that in the chat. And also, again, as members, it's our duty to invite friends and family. So if you know like-minded folks, share the membership application with them, share the email link with them, and get them involved as well. And then lastly, if y'all could please just take the time right now to RSVP for the January meeting, which is on January 10th, 2023. We'll drop the link to that in the chat, and take a second out right now to please register, because it seems like a long way away, but really it's just around the corner, and it'll come up on you, you'll forget. So take the opportunity. But again, we want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We want to be respectful of your time. It is now 7:30. So y'all can feel free to unmute and say, your goodbyes and farewells. And again, thank you to the members, allies, and supporters of IJ Action. So long, 2022.
And I want to say ugly Christmas sweaters are encouraged at the holiday party.
Ugly as possible.
Everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.